Super Sodiq Yusuff.
Yes, I was watching that fight. Super Sodiq Yusuff is here, ladies and gentlemen. Mixed martial artist on the rise, Heather B.
That's a fact.
He got the cheat code in him. It's in his DNA.
100%.
It's from the original land of Kibulan.
Talk to him.
This ain't your regular fighter. It's a takeover happening in the UFC.
Breaks over.
The Nigerians are coming. The Nigerians are coming.
100%. 100%.
And they have arrived. Please welcome him to the show. Champion. Sodiq Yusuff, ladies and gentlemen. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, bro.
Thank you guys for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, you hit hard.
Oh yeah, I try. It's in my blood, like you were saying before, man. It's just something I was born with. I can't say I do work hard for it, but there's a little bit of extra juice on there from being from where I'm from.
Yeah, man. I watch you. I see you on Instagram, and it's kind of unfair because you got to see his thighs, Heather. I mean that in the most.
Oh, wow.
Hold up.
I ain't gonna thigh check the man.
Hold up.
Got me out here in these streets, Sway.
I mean that in the most masculine way I can say it. But, you know, it's almost equivalent. If you see a guy stepping into the ring and he got huge triceps and biceps, you're going to go, oh, that dude got some big arms, right? Yeah. But I say that, too, because one of the keys to this different discipline altogether to Manny Pacquiao's success is, anybody want to take a guess?
His calf muscles.
His calf muscles. So he always has proper balance. He always able to pull a punch from any angle, any direction, and which makes him so deadly. One of the things that make Mr. Yusuff so deadly is
Calf muscles.
Nah, he told you before.
His thighs.
Yeah.
So your thighs could have a lot to do with it?
Yeah, 100%. Because a lot of times when you're punching, your power punches is always going to be generated from the ground up.
Right.
You know? There's some guys that they got like real wide shoulders, you know, so they could twerk, like they could turn real easy, you know, they could twist their body. I feel like that's why Wilder probably hit as hard as he do because he's like, he got them wide torsos.
Deontay Wilder, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, you know, everything's coming from my legs. You know, I don't skip leg day at all.
you don't skip leg day.
Jay-Z said that.
Jay-Z said he don't skip leg day? Your record right now is 11 or is it 12?
11 and 1.
11 and 1. Who beat you?
I lost back in the regional scenes a long time ago. You know, I went through my whole amateur career, never taking a loss. I went through, and then as a pro, I went a long time without taking a loss. So I kind of let the little ego get to me a little bit, you know. So I was fighting a guy for it was a guy that I knew I had the better of. You know, I thought I was gonna win, but my coach told me, hey, no matter what, dude got this one position we got to be careful of, and he be throwing people and throwing them on their head. I saw the highlight tape, and he threw 2 dudes on their head. I was like, that ain't gonna happen to me. So the fight's going as it going, and you know, this is like one of the biggest things I took away from that jump, because when you take a loss, you gotta make sure there's a lesson in it. So in that fight, everything's going well. I've rocked him a couple of times. He's wobbling, and then in the back of my mind, now I'm starting to think of, all right, man, after this, we're going to go eat this. We're going to go do this.
You were literally thinking that during the fight?
Yeah, because I'm in cruise control. Like, when I get into a certain zone, especially back in those days, I start getting in cruise control, and things are just firing. At that point, I'm no longer – it don't feel like I'm fighting no more. It's like I'm just, like, watching myself work, you know? So, and then we got into a clinch. Next thing you know, I blinked. Open my eyes, my coach is in front of me. I'm like, what happened? He said, the move, shawty, the move. So from then on, ever since then, I started working on just like the mental aspects of fighting, you know. Because by the time you get in that ring, all the physical stuff is done. Yeah. So whenever I find myself getting in that cruise control, getting in that cruise mode, I start talking to myself. If you ever watch my fights, you'll see me talk to myself a lot. And I'll be locked in. And that's just a way to remind myself to stay focused on your duty, you know. Yeah. So don't zone out.
So you blinked.
Hey, that's what it feels like, man. I'm sure I don't think nobody in here has ever been knocked out.
Anybody been knocked out? No. Anybody knocked somebody out? Show of hands.
There we go.
Three
there
of
we go.
Three of us.
But yeah, that's all it feels like. It just feels like you like skip time. So I just felt the blink, and that was it.
But you didn't feel the pain?
Nah, man. So that's another thing I tell people when I tell people I fight, I do MMA, I'm in the UFC. It's like, man, that's crazy. That stuff must hurt like crazy. Blah blah. Like punches the punches don't necessarily hurt, you know, unless if you're getting like cut up or something like that. But like getting hit in the head is like it's like a concussive blow. And like that sounds like a real meathead thing to say.
Yes.
Maybe. So it just feels like force. It's like trauma, but it's not real pain. Like if I kick you in the leg, now that's pain. Or like if I hit you in the body, like that's pain.
Yeah.
But being knocked out is like it's only happened to me once. I hope it never happened again. But I mean, and it was a TKO. It wasn't like I wasn't out. So, but I was dazed. But that daze that y'all seen on TV to me was just like a split second.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He woke up and saw his coach.
Yeah, he saw his coach.
Yeah.
And he saw the Tin Man. He saw the Scarecrow.
Hey, don't hype it up now. It wasn't all that.
It wasn't all that.
Like I said, it was just
a whack
lesson.
TKO. It was a whack TKO.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, I ain't gonna take that away from it, man. That highlight was vicious, but hey, I got a lot of good highlights too.
Yeah. Sodiq Yusuff. This is a Nigerian name. Is this your complete name?
Yeah, Sodiq Yusuff. So
go.
that's yeah, I got it. So Sadiq and Yusuf is Arabic. You know, that comes from the Islam part because my dad's Muslim.
Okay.
But my Yoruba name is Olamide. It means my joy is here. You know, that's what the only people, my mom always calls me that. You know, she'll never really call me Sadiq. So that's my real Nigerian name. I don't know like my full sayings. My mom would say when she's trying to slice me or something, or if I do something good, she would give me the full list. But I ain't about to memorize the full list. Right.
So what languages do you speak?
Yoruba. I speak Yoruba and English. So in Nigeria, there's a lot of different tribes, but the big three languages is Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo.
Okay.
And then like outside, everybody will speak like pidgin English to each other. But like I'm in a weird spot where it's hard for me to understand pidgin, but I speak Yoruba fluently.
Okay.
But that's because when I came to this country, my mom said, "Hey, as soon as I landed, we ain't speaking no more English." So she cut no English at the house. So whenever me and my brother would talk to each other, if she hears us talking English, she'll cut that joint out. It's to the point now, even as an adult, whenever I talk to my mom, it's hard for me to speak English to her because I got so used to it. But she had to do that because Yoruba is like a tonal language. It's one of those languages where you could always understand it, but it's hard for people to speak it back.
Yeah.
Because like, I'll give you an example right now. I'll say, enyi, enyi, enyi. All three of those was three different words.
Wow.
And they got nothing to do with each other.
to break them down, define them.
So let me say, if I say enyi, that means you guys. If I say enyi, that means my back. If I say enyi, that's an egg.
Oh,
so you see how it's easy to get lost.
But Mandarin and what were we gonna say? Cantonese, Mandarin, a lot of the Chinese languages, it's the same way, right?
Yeah. So
but English could get tricky like that too, because that's like 2, 2, and 2. You know, there's the number 2, and then there's 2. You know, 2 0 and then 2 0.
Yeah.
Like also,
so when it comes with Yoruba, it's like the kids could always they could always understand it.
Right.
Like it'll be rare for you to meet a Yoruba kid that can't understand Yoruba, but they just can't repeat that word. They can't repeat it back. So like as the conversation is going, almost every word that you're saying is an example of that. So unless if you're going to sit there and try to decipher what this guy's trying to say to you, like you ain't never going to be able to keep up a conversation.
So when you talking to yourself in the ring, are you speaking Yoruba or are you speaking English?
Nah. It's usually English because when I'm talking to myself in the ring, it ain't like I'm having a full-blown conversation. This is like months and months of trying to like hypnotize myself, you know? So I got like specific words for like specific situations, you know?
Okay.
So I'm just repeating those words over and over again.
Style bender.
That's my boy.
Yeah, Israel.
Yeah.
That dude is probably one of the most electrifying fighters in the MMA today.
100%.
He should be a franchise face, and he should be one of the highest paid because his future, just like you see a Conor McGregor or you'll see a John Jones or Anderson Silva from the past or any of the Gracie family from the past, they help keep the brand strong and alive.
Yes.
When I talk, or Tyron Woodley, Mr. Woodley is a good friend of mine. What I notice in my observation, I'm a big fan of the discipline. I come to fights. I'm there. It's always some type of disgruntled fighters in the UFC.
Yeah.
You know, they're always questioning the matches and how come this person, Aldo, might get set up with somebody else and he ain't really the shit now, but he's a draw. How come I'm not being moved up? What are the politics of the UFC, like without hurting yourself?
Of course. Okay. I'm an exciting fighter, man. It's hard for me to hurt myself.
No.
So, like I said, and guys like honestly, guys like Israel, Israel's in a solid spot, you know.
Yeah.
And guys like me, like it's like certain styles is always gonna be appealing to the people that are trying to sell a product. Because let's not, at the end of the day, you still gotta sell the product, you know. So if you have a certain type of style that the fans aren't gonna want to see, or if you don't have the type of personality that people aren't gonna want to tune into, it's hard for the company to put a lot of push into you, you know. And it's like, I hate to say it, like it's not really politics, you know, because they gotta make money too, you know. They gotta make money too. So it's a give and take, you know. And like you said, Israel is one of those guys that he's a big face. I don't know I ain't checking his pockets, so I don't know what his pockets looking like. But the only thing different will be trying to do stuff like this. I've seen Willie come up here, and trying to get more into like the urban culture. You know, it's like the UFC is still at a point right now where I'll go back. Like I live in PG County. And like over there, it's like that's as black as you could get. Like my middle school, my high school, we had like 2 white kids, you know. So over there, I told people coming up that, hey, I'm gonna be in the UFC when I'm an adult. You know, I'm gonna be in the UFC when I grow up. And they're back then, they're like, what is that? What is that? Oh, you want to wrestle? Or you want to do WWE? Like so it's a little bit off to them. Like they're not getting it like boxing is, you know. So I feel like if we start getting more into like these type of media outlets, like stuff that are for us, it's gonna be easier for us to promote ourselves, and that's when we're gonna start shining.
And we just made this happen organically.
Yeah, 100%, man. I also my boy Lowe's brought this up. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, the Diaz brothers, I love them too, man. They the shit.
Yep.
I want to Sodiq Yusuff is here. I don't know if people ever wanted to get into mixed martial arts or fight in the UFC or want to get behind the science, or why would anybody want to get kicked in the head? Call them up, 888-742-3345. We got more questions for you. Sodiq Yusuff. Sodiq Yusuff. Just replace his name. Man came into stardom in 2018 when he first became official in his debut in the UFC. Man has just been plowing through the contenders since.
Amazing.
He's hungry right now. Such a great fighter. He feels like if he was to get in the ring with somebody in his weight division, which is about what, 145? 145. If he was to be a boxer, he'll be boxing against Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Crawford or Manny Pacquiao.
Wow.
But he's a mixed martial artist. But if he had to match up with Errol Spence Jr., how do you think you would do?
There's levels, man. There's levels. You always want to reach for the best, man. I got a lot of respect for these boxers, man. Yeah. That's how I came up. If you see my hands in that cage, everybody see me, they're like, oh man, that dude's a devastating striker. He's doing this, and this. But I tell you, I'm humble enough to tell you there's levels.
Who's hitting the hardest in the UFC featherweight division? Who hits harder than you?
I can't say right now that someone hits harder than me because I ain't lose yet, you know. So it's hard for me to say, you know. I ain't really run across on when I was like, oh God, this dude. Okay, I'll tell you this. I fought the Mexican dude, Gabriel Benitez. So before you get in the cage, the day before that, they bring you into a little meeting with everybody that's gonna be on the commentary table, so y'all could talk about stuff that you can't talk about before the cameras, you know, so that people don't know your game plan. So the guy across from me, John Anik, he goes, Gabriel's coach says he's the hardest kicker that he's ever held pass for. He's held for heavyweights and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care what superpowers coaches give the athletes. Like, I ain't trying to hear that. You just making up something, right? But the fight start, right? Dude kicked me in my body. First thing he hit me with, I was like, damn, that nigga was telling the truth, boy. I was like, yo, right away. So I will give you that. That's the hardest kicker I've ever fought. Wow. Gabriel Benitez. So yeah, 100. As soon as he touched me, I felt that joint right away. But I keep a good poker face though. You know, you can never tell anything's getting to me. You know, and I don't got a problem with marching forward. If we gonna swing, one of us gonna go down.
I like that, Sodiq Yusuff. Give out your social. Citizens, follow this. See, think of how we've had people like Chance the Rapper or Logic or different artists before you even knew who they were, came up to this show and they became who they became. in mixed martial arts, this is the person I'm telling you need to watch this star.
100%, y'all. Follow me, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything is all Super Sodiq, man. And everything you want to watch over there, you want to see me talking to my African folks, talking to my brothers and sisters, talking to my mom. You want to see me talk about anime, talk about ice cream, everything's on there. Super Sodiq Yusuff.
I want to talk about your mom. So when you told your mom you wanted to go into the sport, did she look at you like it was great?
That's a great story, actually. I got my mom in the gym with me now. My mom, if you guys follow my Instagram, y'all see videos. I be pranking my mom at the gym and everything. So she be in there hitting her pads. She sticks to it twice a day. She don't ever miss a day. But let me so answering your question, man. I'm an immigrant. I identify with immigrants. You could be Mexican. You could be from Cambodia. I don't care what you're from, but the immigrant mentality is all the same. My mom came here before me and my little brother, and she saved up money doing any type of job that immigrants can do, to save up money for us. So I grew up watching her. That's my biggest motivation. I always tell everybody, I get everything I am is from my mom. And you can ask my coaches. I ain't never had a coach that didn't like me because my work ethic is like that. So it come from her. So ever since I was little, first time I saw the UFC on TV, I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. It was just I don't know why I changed the channel that day, but luckily I changed the channel and I just found my calling right there. And I've been telling her since I was a kid that I was gonna be in the UFC when I grew up. So after high school, I had to wait like 1 year because our papers wasn't right. I couldn't go to school. Like I said, the immigrant struggle. I couldn't go to school. The next year I was able to go to school. I went to 1 semester at Bowie State University. Then I started. I saw one of the local DC guys. He fought in the UFC, and he said something about, I trained at Lloyd Irvin's martial arts. It's in Camp Springs. I'm like, there's a UFC fighter from where I'm from, PG County. Like I ain't even know it at the time. So I looked up the gym's address. The gym was like maybe 35 minutes away if you was to drive, but I didn't have a car at the time. But so I looked up the trains and the bus routes. Train could get you there in 20 minutes, but that'll cost you $12 every day. I looked up the bus route. You could get there in 3 hours for $3, and that would be the whole day. So I was like, I put my book bag on, took the 3-hour bus ride, went to the gym. From that day on, I never skip my schedule. I'll get there if they have morning practice. I'll leave the house at 7, get there at 10, and just sit there the whole day. It got to the point where the older folks at the gym, they started like messing with me. They used to call me the jiu-jitsu stalker, like because I just look like a creep. I just sit there because I was there for my beginner class, and I just sit there and just watch everybody else. Because man, I ain't gonna come 3 hours over here for a 1 hour class. You know, I gotta maximize it out. So I kept doing that for about 3 months. And then one day I got a phone call when I was in school. I was in Bowie. And somebody goes, hey, Master Lloyd wants to talk to you. That's what you call a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He was like, Master Lloyd wants to talk to you. And then he picks up the phone. He was like, hey, what are you doing with your life, man? What are you doing with yourself? I said, man, I'm in school, but to be perfectly honest, I'm just here to keep my mom happy. Like I really want to follow my dreams. My dreams to be in the UFC one day. And I know if I had the opportunity to pursue this full time, I know I could do it. But Master Lloyd's like 45, 50. He ain't going to tell a kid to drop out of school. So he go about it a funny way. He goes, well, if that don't work out for you, I got an opportunity you could take advantage of. That was my last day going to school, dog. I went to go talk to my mom. I was like, hey, Mom, this is a great opportunity for me. This guy's offering me a chance to live in a house that he got strictly for fighters, where all I could worry about for the next couple of years would just be going to practice, eating, going back to practice, going to sleep. And that would be my schedule forever. And she was like, man, we're Nigerians. We got to be doctors.
You got to be a Nigerian parent?
Yeah, we got to be doctors, man. But I was like, this is the junk that always get her. No matter what, this line always works on her. I hope she don't hear this interview, too. I was like, I'm your son. You know me. Everything I got comes from you, and that it always clicks because she knows I'm a direct reflection of her. I've seen her struggle and grind. I've seen her work 3, 4, 5 jobs, So I was like, no matter, I'm gonna give this my all, and if I don't make it, it gotta be like a godsend that I just wasn't meant to make it. I could always go back to school. Like, just give me 3, 4, 5 years. If this don't work out, I'll go back to school, and I could do that because no matter what, I could put my nose down and get the work done. I could get whatever type of degree you want me to get.
Yeah.
So she was like, all right, man. She wasn't all on board, but slowly she was like, she packed up my stuff for me, dropped me off at the fighter house, and from then on, that was my schedule, man.
Was that the contender? What was the fighter house? That's just a whole different.
Yeah. That's just my coach's house. Okay. He just has that for people that just want to focus on training, because what they're known for over there is jiu-jitsu. Like they're like a world-class jiu-jitsu joint. So like people will come from out of the country and just stay in there and do camps over there. But he offered me the opportunity to actually live there and just focus on training altogether.
What's his name?
Lloyd Irvin.
Lloyd Irvin. Sodiq Yusuff is here. Snee is on the line. You got a quick question, Snee? Snee.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, what's up, man? Alafia, brother.
Alafia to you, too.
Oh, okay. No doubt, and walaikum salam to you, too. On the MMA, you mentioned something about how it's trying to connect, like it's kind of not there yet, connecting with the urban culture, per se, hip-hop.
Yep.
Like, how are you going about doing that? Like I see how basketball and boxing has got there, and I really think that MMA should get there. You know, I was hoping to get there with Brandon Lee, but we know what happened with that.
Oh, yeah.
So you already know where I'm going.
Yeah, nah, for sure. With me, just like I was saying before, I think the biggest and the most obvious thing right now is these media outlets. We can't, because a lot of times, like, I told like my fighting managers and stuff like that, like, man, yeah, I'm going on Sway. They're like, oh, congratulations. Like, they don't know what that means, like, in our culture, you know?
They don't know that John Jones been here, Anderson Silva been here.
Exactly. So they don't.
Mighty Mouse has been here.
They don't realize, like, what that means, especially, like, someone that's coming from me, someone that's still on the grind up. So is the biggest thing I can say is just doing these type of media outlets.
And stay 10 toes down. We got Jadakiss coming up in a minute. Maybe you get Jadakiss to, put a stamp on you or something.
100%. I would appreciate that.
Snee, you a citizen. Tracy, you got a quick question?
Yeah, you said that you was interested in ice cream, so I wanted to know what other sweet shit you into.
One more time? You said other sweet shit I'm into? Nah. That's the only one, man. I'm Bill Hart over here, man. There's not that many soft stuff for me. Ice cream is just my vice, like I don't smoke. I don't drink. I've never not been sober in my life, So that's like my only big outlet. That's like the only thing I got that I really, really enjoy that I know is not good for me.
What about women?
Women, yeah, I got one right now, and she's solid, so I don't plan on looking around anytime soon.
All right, take your headphones off for me real quick. So, does she lick your ears? Or does what the hell? What do they do with the ears? Like, all the martial artists, they got the cauliflower ears.
Yeah. When I was a kid, like I said, I idolized all these guys on TV. I was like, man, I can't wait to look cool and tough. I can't wait to have that when I'm growing up. I hate this John Dog. I don't want to look like no fighter, man. But the thing is, at this point, once it hardens up and it turns into a cauliflower ear, the only way to get rid of it is to have a doctor cut it, which will be like plastic surgery. But I don't got that time to chill out, because you got to actually wait for the joint to heal, And at this point, I'm on work time, and I'm working, so I don't have the time to sit around and let it heal.
So does she whisper in your ear?
100%.
I love it.
Okay, so Alex V is at the top of the featherweight rankings. Max Holloway, Brian Ortega. These are all people you would love to fight. Are you ready for them?
100%, man. When I was coming up, my coach kept me as an amateur for a long time, He kept, his excuse was, we need to get a loss. We need to get a loss. I want you to experience what a loss feels like when it won't affect your record, But the loss never came until midway through my pro career. But by the time anyone that's listening out there that has like wishes of trying to do this, by the time you get into the UFC, you should be good enough to beat. Even if you can't beat everyone in the division, it has to be competitive, and it has to be a thing where if the matchmakers are throwing you out there, it has to be, I don't know if you could win or if you could lose. There should be no one in the division that can hands down beat you, and I could 100% compete with every single person in my division.
You got it right here, man. Super Sodiq, ladies and gentlemen. Sodiq Yusuff. Woo! Once again, give out your social media, brother.
Yeah, everything is Super Sodiq Yusuff, man. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Super Sodiq Yusuff.
Congratulations on all your success, man. Tell your mom we said hi.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to seeing you fight. Damn, Tyron Woodley just sent me a message. Let me see what he said, okay?
Oh, yeah, he's listening right now?
Sodiq Yusuff is under Lloyd Irvin. He's one of the up-and-coming fighters. He got
you
extremely well-rounded base. Coming off a big win against Andre Touchy-Feely, who's a huge prospect out of Alpha Male.
Yeah.
One thing about Sodiq is he's really cerebral, really composed for such a young fighter. Maybe ask some questions on where that comes from.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the biggest thing I could equate that to was that I learned really early on in my career how to beat a nail. Everybody is a good hammer, you know, but I went a long time in the gym. Like what y'all seeing now is the glitz and glamour. Y'all don't get to see the like the tough parts. Y'all don't get to see the L's in the gym. Y'all don't get to see me getting beat up, seeing me, because I moved into that house with almost nothing. I'm a white belt. That house is full with world-class black belts coming from around the world to come do training camps.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not going to survive in that room. So at this point, I just got to be a nail. So I got really good at defending. I got really good at surviving in bad positions, you know. So at this point, by the time I got to the UFC and got to turning pro, it's like now it's time for me to be the hammer. I'm always look good, you know.
Sodiq the Hammer Yusuff, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get it.
Thank you for coming by, bro.
Thank you
Good
guys
luck.
for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.